Hello. Today I'm here on the shore of the lake and I'm going to be talking with you about the Trecena of Tz'i. So we can get an idea about what the Trecena of Tz'i might mean, might bring for us, when we look at the properties of the renewal Tz'i. Those properties often being associated with unconditional love, guidance, faith, loyalty, justice, and vices. So there's quite a mixed bag of things in there. There's quite a multitude of things to be addressed within this Trecena. The faith, the loyalty, the guidance, maybe the faith in your guidance to be following your path. The justice coming in, a time for new justice, for things to be resolved, for things to be brought into a way of natural law. And also we have the vices in there. Now the vices can be a temptation. Tz'i, with its keen senses, sometimes gets distracted by things that smell good, things that look good, things that taste good, things that feel good, all of those kind of things. And these temptations may come up against our faith or may come up against our loyalties. So sometimes we can see those things coming in to test, well, have you got the faith in this that you think you have? Are you really going to be loyal to this? It's a great time for beginning some kind of legal process, whether that's laws of humans or whether that's the law of nature. The renewal Tz'i is very strongly attached to the law and the upholding of the law. And so if you have any legal things to do, then Trecena of Tz'i is a great time to be kicking them off. But again, it's a great time to be bringing legal matters into balance, bringing things which are maybe going against the natural law. It's a great time to be working on bringing them into balance. So we're going to begin the Trecena of Tz'i with one Tz'i. So the number one being rather like the seed, being rather like the what needs encouragement, the newborn that needs assistance to grow, needs a little bit of help. It's about beginnings and novelty. And here when we see it with Tz'i, on this day, one Tz'i, this is kind of like the new law. This is kind of like, we could see it as a renewal of faith. We could see it as a new loyalty to something new that you maybe, kind of like making your allegiance to something new. We can also see it as the beginning of unconditional love. But all of those things, they're just right at the beginning. They need some help, they need some assurance, they need some coddling, as it were, like the newborn, in order to grow strong and in order to grow fast. And so you may find that maybe your faith needs a little bit of a boost, as it were. Or maybe something that you're doing needs a little bit of energy put into it, because the one days they need that fertilizer, they need that rain to make them grow. And so you might choose a one day to go and seek the assistance of others, to get their opinions, to get their advice, to get their counsel on the new path. That new path being a path of love, being a path of faith, being a path of loyalty, and coming into a state of natural law. From one Tz'i, we're then going into two bats. So bats, the day of the weaver, the day of the creator. And here we see it with the number two. Now the number two can represent polarities, and one of the things that I really see with two bats is about weaving two polarities together, creating something beautiful from two things which might not necessarily always be associated with each other. In fact, they might be different ends of the spectrum. But here we see two bats weaving them together, creating with the eye of a master artisan something beautiful from opposites, as it were. Now, bats can also be seen as a marriage day. It's the weaving together of two people, as it were. And the number two can represent relationships as well. And so we can see that this can be a very, very strong day for relationships, for weaving them together, maybe making things stronger. And when we see this with the Trecena of Tz'i, we see this faith, this loyalty, this trust that comes from our loyal, faithful dog, wherever they are. My dogs are around here somewhere. But this is with the two bats, we can see kind of like that faith, the unconditional love that we get from our dogs in the Trecena of Tz'i, as it were. We can see that as being a very core essence, helping to weave together relationships to create something truly beautiful. So again, on two bats, this could be a great time to be spending some time truly weaving your relationship and appreciating its beauty. From two bats, we're then going into three Now, days, they're normally good days to travel. But the three can be, maybe it's not always the best day to be going outside. The three can relate to the home, it can relate to inner work. And so when we see this connected with this could represent kind of like the journeys taken on a three day might not be the smoothest. But that said, days are normally good to travel on, so maybe if you do have to travel on a three day, then just leave a bit of extra time. It's kind of like saying, well, yeah, okay, travel, but be prepared for some obstructions or blockages. But what we really see is that the three relating to the home, and with the journey, so like the inner journey, the journey within your home, the journey within your heart. Once again, this in the Trecena of Tz'i, with faith and loyalty. So where do you want your inner journey to take you? Well, three might reveal that to you. From three we're then going to four Now, four could be possibly seen as one of the most stable days within the calendar. Representing the home, representing support, representing the elder, representing the spinal column, representing all that stands up for what is right in the world. Again, in the Trecena of Tz'i, I was talking about justice earlier on. I was talking about the law earlier on. And what we see with 4 is about putting those sorts of things into practice, standing up for what is going to bring harmony within the community, what is going to bring harmony within your home. Well, 4 is the day to get that out into physical form. Because makes us stand up tall, it makes us say what needs to be said, even if it's not so popular. The things that we need to say and do in order to support our family, our community, in order to bring harmony, these are the sorts of things that could be very well addressed on the 4 day. It's about grounding and creating the foundation, with the 4 being the material plane, and being what supports the sky from the earth, as it were. And so 4 day is a really good day to be, making a solid commitment of things, to support, to bring harmony, to ground things and bring them into a physical reality, making physical changes perhaps, showing your faith and your loyalty to your community, your family. From 4 we're then going into 5 Ish. So Ish, the Nawal of the altars and the shrines. Ish, the Nawal of the sacred spaces. The connection with Mother Earth, the most feminine of all of the Nawalis. The connection with the altars and the shrines. And the number 5, well, here we see the hand which is going to do the work. We see that it's about putting our energy into it. It's about putting our energy into our care for Mother Earth. It's about putting our energy into making our ceremonies, into making our altars, into making our shrines. The 5 I often see as it will go a long way if we put the energy into it, but it needs that energy input. And so it's a day to be working on your connection with Mother Earth. It's a day to be working on behalf of Mother Earth and all that she gives to sustain us. It's a day to be working on your connection with the sacred, Shipotrella there, the sacred on the outside, the sacred on the inside. That's what we're here to work with on 5 Ish. The more work you put in, the more result you'll get out. 5s are very, very simple like that. But it's a day when you can't just kind of like expect things to fall into your lap. You've got to put the effort in order for anything to happen from it. From 5 Ish, we then go into 6 Tz'ikin. Tz'ikin representing the bird, representing the vision. And again, in this Trecena of Tz'i, we're talking about having faith, we're talking about having loyalty. What are we loyal to? Well, we see Tz'ikin as the one who brings us the vision. We see that as allowing us, our family, our community, to thrive and to prosper. That's what this vision is here to do. Now here we see it connected with the number 6, which can represent the family, and it can represent the number of ultimate stability. And so we could see a 6 Tz'ikin as a great day to be stabilizing your vision, which of course you need to have faith in and you need to be loyal to in order to bring that stability in. But we can also see it as the long-term vision for your family. How is your energy going to help to develop your family? How is it going to help to bring stability to your family? Maybe it's through the faith and loyalty that comes through this Tz'i Trecena. Maybe there's also some justice that needs to be in there in order to realize this vision into a stable reality. From 6 Tz'ikin, we're then going into 7 Ajmak. Now this is a particularly interesting one as well. I was talking earlier how Tz'i and the Trecena of Tz'i can highlight our vices. And I'm sure that we've all had them at some point in our lives, and probably still have various vices in our paths and that kind of thing. Ajmak is the acceptance of ourselves as human beings. It's about being joyful about being a human being, celebrating, accepting those scars that we carry and that kind of thing from our past. But here we see it with the number 7 as well, which can represent the end. It can represent death. It can also represent choices. And so we may see a variety of choices laid out in front of us on 7 days. But what are those choices about? Well, with Ajmak, we can see it about being a human. We can also see it about forgiveness and acceptance. And so when 7 Ajmak comes around, one of the phrases that I like to associate with it is forgive and let go. Because Ajmak, we're talking about redemption, we're talking about forgiveness in that way, but the 7 is talking about finality. So it's kind of like, right, okay, you're done with dragging that bag of guilt or blame or shame around. It's time to let go of it. But, you know, we can't let go of it and keep looking back at it. 7 Ajmak is about dropping it there and saying, thank you, I learnt my lesson there. I learnt my lesson about my vices. I learnt my lesson about faith, about loyalty, whatever it might be. We don't need to forget about it because it's right there. So we can remember that it's there. Because otherwise we might be destined to repeat the lesson if we were just to forget about it. But we can let it go. And so if there's anything that you've been holding on to for a long time that you feel is causing you to lack faith in yourself, your path, family, partnership, whatever it might be, 7 Ajmak is a great day to resolve those kind of things and kind of like let it go once and for all, forgive it and say, right, okay, time to move on. From 7 Ajmak, we're then going to 8 Noch. So 8 Noch, the renewal of the mind, of the brain, of information, of knowledge. And here we see it with the number 8. So the number 8 I see as wholeness. It's understanding that we can't do things unilaterally. Well, we can, but if we do, then we miss out on a lot of the detail which is going to help to guide us. Because the Tz'i Trecena is also about guidance. 8 Noch can be about putting the whole plan together, all sides of it, all aspects of it, bringing that into some kind of wholeness. It's about celebrating the wholeness of the knowledge that we carry. And in some ways, I suppose if Noch could represent the brain, we could see 8 Noch as representing using our whole brain, the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere, the artistic and the logical, all working in a beautiful harmony together to solve our problems, to come up with solutions. From 8 Noch, we're then going into 9 Tijax. So Tijax, the renewal of the obsidian blade, the warrior, the healer. Again, we see this warrior moving forward with faith, with loyalty, coming to help to preserve the whatever laws it is. And here we see it with the number 9, the number of the feminine, the number of life. Now, Tijax, I also see as representing purification in a way, because Tijax helps us to heal by cutting away what is causing the disease. Tijax helps us to discern, to see through things. Sometimes I look at it like an editor or a sculptor cutting away the superfluous bits to bring out the true beauty of something. And what have we got it attached to? Well, the number 9 can represent femininity, and so it's a strong day for female warriors, as it were. But we can really see it about the purification of life on the 9 Tijax day. And of course, as we're going through this Tz'i Trecena, highlighting our vices, but also kind of bringing us into focus, bringing in that discernment of where do we want to purify? How do we want to purify? What do we want to do with it? Well, maybe 9 Tijax can give us a very good idea of exactly what we need to cut away in our life and exactly how to do it. How to use that fine eye of the surgeon to skillfully cut away exactly what is causing us to lack faith, to lack loyalty, and bring us into a state of unconditional love. From 9 Tijax, we're then going into 10 Kawok. So Kawok, the day of the rainstorm. Maybe it's coming. It's a bit early for it, but it's possible. Kawok, the day of the female healer. You know, those Tijax days, sometimes they can be rather rough. Sometimes they can, cut quite deeply on that. And then along comes Kawok to dress our wounds, to actually kind of perform the healing afterwards. It's very associated with feminine healing. It's associated with midwives. It's associated with bringing forth new life. And here we see it with the number 10, which represents a community. It's hands coming together in cooperation, giving each other a hand up. And so 10 Kawok could be seen as an excellent community healing day, using the compassionate essence of Kawok, also the strength of Kawok, because that storm is also going to kind of like make sure that it happens. Sometimes I like to call Kawok or associate it with tough love. It's kind of like it's got your best interests at heart, but sometimes it might not pull its punches about the way that it's going to help you to move through into your new self. But of course, this is in the Trecena of unconditional love, and that's what we see Kawok bringing. And so this is a very loving day to get together with the community and compassionately bring healing so that we can all move forward. From 10 Kawok, we then move into 11 Achpu. So Achpu representing the divine, Achpu representing the sun, Achpu representing our highest possibility. I like to talk about it being the hero within, the hero being the, what would we call it, like the God self, the goddess self, however you want to call it, your most evolved self, what you're here to do, the goal of your mission, your spiritual path. And here we see it with the number 11. So we know that the number 11 is kind of like it's going in many different directions. That's where it gets its creativity from. It gets it by walking a road which is less traveled. It gets it from going into different directions, looking for the signs of divinity in many different places. And this is something that we can see with 11 Achpu. So really with 11 Achpu, this is not something which is going to be, let's say, you might find yourself drawn in many different directions, searching for answers, searching for divinity, maybe searching for truth, searching for your highest goals. And once again, this could be a great day to call on Tz'i, the head of the Trecena, to bring you the guidance, the faith in your spiritual path, because sometimes you might feel like you don't really know where you're going on 11 Achpu. It's got a lot of different aspects that are all going to come clear in the future. But while you're walking it, it's just a case of like, see what attracts you on that day. See what guides you. And follow your divine self, your divine heart. From 11 Achpu, we're then going into 12 Imox. So Imox, representing the lake, representing the great bodies of water. Imox, representing our dreams. Imox, representing our collective consciousness. Now, we can focus on all of those different aspects of Imox. But I think with 12 Imox, possibly the thing to focus on, the dream aspect, Because when we see the number 12 for me is about bringing things all together in one place. It's about bundling things into one bundle. It's about bringing together all of our life experience. And here it's kind of like bringing together all of our life experience in order to help us to ground our dream into reality. And so this is a day where you may find that things from your past come in to help you to bring that into reality. Now it's also a very strong day. It's a very high number. And Imox we can see as our connection to the collective as well. And sometimes our connection to the collective can be too strong. Sometimes we lose sight of our own dream or who we are, who we want to be. Sometimes we might lose our faith. We might gain faith as well, but we might lose our faith because we get distracted by the collective. 12 Imox is a great day for turning off your phone, turning off the media, turning off and kind of taking a retreat, because it's a great day to reflect on what your life streams are, how to put your faith into them, your loyalty towards your life dream, and check out whether it's your dream or whether it's a collective dream. What have you been following? Is it really your life dream? And then finally, we end up on the extremely powerful day of 13 Ik. So Ik, the wind. We know that Ik can be the gentle breeze. We know that Ik can be the hurricane as well. We know that Ik is a day of communication. It's a day of words. And it's a very important day for any kind of communication like that, because those words can be extremely powerful. Now, where are those words coming from, or what are they embodied with? What are they enhanced with? Well, the number 13 representing the ancestors, representing spirit. And so we can see this as a day when you might receive messages from ancestors, spirit, when you're least expecting them. It might be that the ancestors are speaking loud and clear on the 13 Ik day. And it's also a day when we can realize that our words can be extremely powerful. So when we have those powerful days, be aware of the words that you're using. Right? It doesn't mean that it's like a time to go in silence. In fact, far from it. It's a day to really get your words out, but be aware of how impactful your words may be on a 13 Ik day. Do you really want to say that, or do you really want to say it like that? Now, going back to the Trecena, because we're finishing the Tz'i Trecena with 13 Ik. One of the ways that we could make sure that our words have the impact that maybe the ones that we want. Focus on unconditional love. Focus on justice. Focus on faith. Focus on loyalty. Perhaps if you use these to guide the words that you use on the 13 Ik day, they'll help to bring the best out of it. So, this has been the Trecena of Tz'i. I hope that you found it interesting, and I look forward to seeing you again in 13 days' time. Thank you.